Okay, so it's like the end of the year. It's the holiday season, and I figured what better time to do a manga haul because, listen, if you've been watching this channel at all, you know, like I'm trying to be good. I'm trying not to buy so much. There were a lot of buy two, get one frees, buy three, get a fourth free. There was a lot of deals going on during this holiday time. So I tried to behave myself. I did the best. Listen, I'm only human, okay? Listen, I'm losing money. Buy three, get the fourth free. I'd be a fool not to. But while I really use that to kind of get series that I've kind of been collecting, kind of catch up on some series, I did actually pick up some stuff that I had never even really heard of and wanted to try out. Again, I'm gonna get these out of the way because it's a cheerful time, you know? The Christmas trees are up and stuff, you know? Let's not talk about dark and depressing. So we're right off the bat. Takopi's Original Sin. I want to say Togepi. It's not. Listen, I'm doing my best, okay? I'm sorry. So when this got announced, people were like really excited that it was getting licensed and published in English and physical. So I was really excited to start reading it. So I've read this whole thing. You listen. I didn't know anything, all right? Nothing. You read this, you know. Whew. It is some stuff. The generalization that I can do with this story on YouTube, Togepi, not the Pokemon and not its actual name, but it's a cute little alien thing that has all these gadgets and becomes friendly with this really young girl. And by the end of the first chapter, this girl, how do I really approach this topic? Decides to no longer be on planet Earth. That's what I'm gonna say. So Alien uses time travel to try to save her. That's the first chapter. Okay, that is the first chapter. It is really well done. The art is really good, and the story is super unique because it takes a lot of turns that you wouldn't imagine. And it grabbed me the entire time that I was reading it. Like, I had to know what happened by the end of it. And again, I'm only going to talk about that first chapter because there is a lot of twists and turns that you might see coming. I did not. I did not expect even that first chapter. I did not expect that image to be in a manga that I was reading. Boy. But I think it approaches the topic of, and this is what I got out of it, I think it can definitely be up to interpretation, and it is so fantastical, but it really tries to delve in a smart kind of sci-fi, realistic way of what kind of effects the parents can have on their children without maybe even meaning to. And, you know, societal pressures, like it goes places. It's a very dark read, but I think that it is, in my opinion, like smartly written and really well done. And I'm super glad to own this because I know this is going to be one of those stories that I go back to and kind of try to figure out exactly what the author was trying to say. But here's the thing. If you thought that was over, where characters dealing with death for my manga haul already in the very beginning, thought it was done, that's going to be the darkest one, I randomly picked up Summer Ghost. Here's the thing. Didn't know anything about it. It was a buy two, get the third free at the Books A Million. I believe this is based on an anime film. Again, I knew nothing about it. It was one of those moments that I really enjoy with manga collecting and things like that. When you find good deals, you can kind of take chances, especially now, you know, with those prices, you know what I mean? It was that perfect thing of, I knew nothing about it. I really like this cover. Kind of flipped through the pages and thought, all right, let's go for it. You know, it's free anyway, so I'm not really losing anything. Boy, when I tell you, you might have just heard me say it. You think the video went back to the beginning. It's about 3 characters, this time a little older, thankfully, and their relationship with death. Yeah. Happy holidays, everyone. All right. Again, but this was really smartly written. I really enjoyed this. For me, was more emotional than the first one, the Original Sin, because and by the end of it, again, twists and turns and things like that, I fell in love with all these characters by the end of this. And I just think the ideas of the premise, I'll tell you, is during the summer, if you light fireworks at this specific like airfield area, the ghost appears, the summer ghost. It's in the title. They did it. Summer ghost. They did the title thing. And these three pretty much kind of strangers through messaging were like, hey, you want to see a ghost? And through that summer, they kind of all connect with each other. And you as the reader kind of figure out, because the ghost says, only people that want to know the face of death can see me. And you start realizing these three characters, for three very, very, very different reasons I'm not going to go into because I don't want to spoil it, are looking at the face of death, for better or worse phrasing. You know what I mean? And I think it handles the topics it wants to talk about in a really smart way. And I really enjoyed these characters. It's a book I knew nothing about. Boy, yeah, it blew me away. All right, that's why I wanted to start with those two, because I knew I'd spend a lot of time on them. But here we go. Rapid fire. Again, like I said, there were sales. These are series that I have talked about before. If you do want me to go in more detail of some of these series, let me know in the comments down below. But let's do it. You ready? Speed round. Ocean & Co. Volume 4. I really need to catch up to this series. My Dress Up Darling Volume 10. I've fallen off of that series. I'm like 3 or 4 volumes behind. I need to get it going. Mob Psycho Volume 12. It's Mob Psycho, Shaman King Flowers. It's a sequel series to Shaman King. Love Shaman King. I need to find time to read Flowers. I hear you. Call the Night, Volume 13 and 14. We already know it's only going to go to Volume 20, so we're so close to the end. And if you haven't heard me say this before, Call the Night's pretty good. All right? Call the Night, pretty... Hey, listen, Call the Night, good. Chainsaw Man Volume 13. Volume 12 and Volume 13 is the second arc. I read a little bit of the second arc when it was starting to get like published on the Shonen Jump app. I need to go back through it. You know, I think a lot of people fell off Chainsaw Man in that second arc, but I really want to check it out. I want to give it a chance. I need to give it a chance. Blood on the Track Volume 15. For the last few times, I've always been like, this is the final volume. I don't even. One of you guys in the comments actually told me what the final volume was. It's probably not Volume 15, but I still read Blood on the Tracks. Man, you want to talk about dark? Blood on the Tracks. Witch Hat Atelier Volume 11. Very good series. Sakamoto Days Volume 9 and 10. Hear me out. Sakamoto Days. Best Shonen Jump title that's currently releasing. I said what I said. I did finally get caught up to all of these volumes. Jujutsu Kaisen, Volume 20 and 21. I've read all of these now. I am not current, like, digitally, but physically I am now current. And it got done with the Shibuya Incident arc. Man, things happened in that arc, huh? If you've been on the internet at all, you know this author has really been on a tear with some characters lately. And now it's in the new arc and it's kind of building up. So, you know, I actually legitimately, Volume 21, I didn't really love. Like, almost none besides Panda was in that volume. That volume, let me know in the comments that volume seemed odd to me. Like, none of the characters of stuff was going on. I guess maybe it's introducing characters that become important later. I don't know. But Jujutsu Kaisen, still good, still fun, still shonen. Speaking of shonen, the final volume of Golden Wind, Volume 9. I believe Volume 1 of Stone Ocean is out. Haven't picked it up yet, but it's JoJo's. I'm going to pick up JoJo's until they finally get caught up with JoJo's in like 120 years or whenever physically here in America. Go with the Clouds, Volume 6. I love Go with the Clouds. I've talked about Go with the Clouds before. Amazing art, very cool story, cool setting. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Coffee Moon, Volume 4. Have not read this yet, but I have talked about this series. Really enjoy it. It's like time travel. Groundhog's Day. Furion, Volume 9. If you did not know when the manga came out what Furion was, now after this anime has gotten super popular, you know what Furion is. Don't call it a mystery. I did a video like about cozy manga. I mentioned this manga. It's like a Sherlock Holmes detective story. Really good character. Man, I really enjoy the series. A whole heck of a lot. Fist of the North Star, hear me out. If you like punch that guy, love this. This is why it's called the grandfather of shonen. And then 2 omnibuses of Noragami. I think this is a great way to collect this series, and I have fallen off a little bit the last 2 omnibus. I'm like 4 omnibus behind now, which is like 12 volume. I need to Noragami. I need to get caught up with you. I love these covers, and I love this format for this series. Whew. Rapid fire, huh? I told you. Listen, hey, I've been doing manga hauls for a long time. There is a moment where you're like, I'm just going to crank through it. You know what most of those series are. Like I said, if you really want me to talk in depth about any of those series, just let me know in the comments. But one that I'm very curious, haven't read it yet, Innocent. I don't really know too much about it. Someone recommended me in one of the comments that I should check out this series, so I picked up this omnibus format. Let me know if it's any good. Hey, I'm trusting you. Who recommended me this? Hey, no pressure, but I took your advice. Emanon Volume 4. I've talked about this series before, but I kind of put it in this stack because we don't really get a lot of releases. This was a shock that we even got a Volume 4 release. It is about an entity that's kind of like traveling through the world and seeing all this time. Like time is kind of doesn't matter to them, and just wandering through the world. So if you like really good art and like existential questions about humanity, again, happy holidays. Emanon, definitely check it out. It's No Name backwards. A new series that I did read, Volume 1 came out and really wildly enjoyed it. Sakura Saku. I know people were very hyped when this series came out, and also this cover is amazing. It's kind of this story about this girl that's kind of this quiet girl, and she doesn't like crowds too much, so she got this note. I'm not gonna spoil some stuff, but it is this high school, it is funny, but I don't want to call it a comedy and stuff. But I think what sells this series is the artwork is great, and the 2 main leads is what I'm gonna call the main leads, right? Will they or won't they get together? And by the end of this volume, I have my opinions. My opinion is they're not together, but hear me out. It's on the way. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you want like a slice of life kind of high school romance comedy story, I would say in the vein of Horimiya, maybe. It's the best. Like, I haven't read Horimiya, but I watched the anime. Like, that's kind of the closest I can get to it. It's by the same author that did Aharu Ride. And if you watch my shoujo video that I did not like that Volume 1 that much. Total flip of this. I'm pot committed to see how these characters play out just after this first volume. I think it is super entertaining and really well written, and I really love these characters already. Another series I didn't know anything about, but then I read that Volume 1 and now I am pot committed, Windbreaker. I've read Volume 2, have not read Volume 3, but hear me out. If you like I'm gonna punch that guy. What I really enjoyed about it is, as of now, I definitely could see it changing, but as of now, there's no like super powered shonen stuff going on. It is just these teens fighting, and they're already in a tournament arc by the 2nd volume. It is super fun, really well drawn. Highly recommend it. And then for a series I did not like at all, actively thought it was not for me, Blade of the Moon Princess. The story of this is kind of, she's a moon, she's the princess of the moon, and her mother is kind of the queen, and she has this special blade. Says it in the title, Blade of the Moon Princess. Nothing grabbed me. Like, the fight scenes didn't grab me, the art didn't grab me, the story itself didn't grab me. And while I guess you could make that argument that like it's a Volume 1, you know what I mean? Like, it's setting up a bunch of stuff, and that's fair. So I maybe will give Volume 2 a try down the road. Not currently. You just saw all the stuff I have to read. But it was one of those, if you go on first impressions alone, I just think that it did not latch on to me in the least. I was fighting my way through to get through this volume, and it's not even that long. And then for the last one, Tomahawk Angel. What I really like about this, my buddy Rex had told me about this. This author, I believe, is not Japanese. I will put where he is from right here, because I am not sure off the top of my head. I really enjoyed the artwork. It does have that, you know, it's kind of, it has like a computer generated kind of look to it, but it kind of works. It reminds me a ton of Alita Battle Angel. So it's kind of like she wakes up, doesn't know who she is, but you know, she has some markings and the world is overrun by like these monsters, but she has a connection to these monsters and the mystery of like what's kind of going on. But what I really enjoyed about it, and I can't go into it without spoiling it, it takes a lot of swings, big swings with characters and kind of what you think a volume 1 is. Like, I'm going to set up a bunch of these characters and maybe they're the main characters, maybe they're not, who knows. But when I say it takes big swings, it just does the structure of a volume 1 and it really throws you in this world. And it takes some choices with characters that you're like, oh, this is this stereotype, this is this stereotype. And by the end of that first volume, you're like, oh no, that's not that stereotype at all. It's doing this whole other completely different thing. And kind of the flip side of Blade of the Moon Princess, I think while this was a lot of setup, the main lead character and the characters around them and the world around them were very interesting to me. And that latched on. While I don't think it's like, I didn't read this and was like, this is the greatest thing ever, but the potential that I think this series can have. And it's kind of such a cool setting that I really enjoy. So there you have it. My last manga haul of 2023. What a year it's been, man. This is not the last, you know, time I'm going to upload this year, but this is the second to last. So I just want to say, right? I really appreciate you guys that have been hanging out with me this year, and I really hope that I have been entertaining and you've been enjoying the videos I've been doing. And I also really hope that you're having a great holiday if you celebrate it. If not, as always, I hope if you're having a bad day, it's better. If you're having a good day, it becomes fantastic. I'll see you next time.